Autumn, this is beautiful. I like the asymmetrical arrangement, but it's very balanced and very calming. So I'm sure meets your objectives, and I'm good on you for forging ahead and recreating the logo. I prefer it really to the style guide version of it, and I see that you've adapted the colors from the PDF style guide. So good. I mean, that's a lot of extra work on your part. The only thing I would suggest is well, the few things I would suggest are it's really difficult to make type fit a shape like this, and with these varying length of words. So I have a suggestion, and I'll see if I can enact upon it in the Illustrator file. But in general, less is probably more, and I would maybe butt these photographs up together, avoid these thin borders or strips. Like the way you've handled the contact information, it is perhaps a tad close to the edge. Remember that magazine pages are trimmed, and so you don't want to lose valuable information anywhere. And I like your choice of images and the color solid. I think you could maybe vary the scale of your circles, and maybe that's one way of making this sit more comfortably in that circle. Okay, I'm going to open up your Illustrator file next. Now, when I open your Illustrator file, it's prompting me for your images, and this tells me that they are linked rather than embedded. It's not a big deal. Illustrator will put a low-res screen approximation in their place, but just know that it doesn't make a freestanding file. And here's the other thing too. It's asking me for two typefaces that you have used presumably on the logo that I don't have. They are Angel Face and Morva. So what you want to do is whenever you use a font like this, make sure that you own it, A, and then B, convert it to outline format. This will also make it a freestanding file. And there's other prompts regarding your fonts. Know that typefaces like images are quite a few are proprietary, and that's what I'm getting at here. And you have to respect the creative and intellectual property of others. So your typeface, if you convert that to outline format, it will display properly. What is it? I'm just going to go through a couple of these things. Contrast to scale. Why not vary the scale, but not just the scale too? Let's see, is that? Let me move this up. Yeah, transparency too. Bleeding off the edge, butting up photographs. I don't know if this is a border, intentional. I get rid of it, what happens? But bleeding off the edge, that means moving your images so that they can disappear comfortably in a gutter. And then there's no reason not to have the silhouette, or perhaps in your logo too, if it's inscribed in a circle, break that strict barrier. It'll create something much more interesting. I don't know, and then placement too, because I think once you start to vary the scale, and I think it's more in line with your message too. And again, these are all suggestions. One of the things I like about people who do things properly, and that is have an organized layer structure, is that I can go in and play around with your ingredients, really with no ill effects to your file. In the old days, the faculty would come up and actually make marks on your drawing or move type around in your expensive photostat and, not think anything about it. So now with digital means all this sort of, contextual, whatever, professional help doesn't affect your file. Good going.